This Chop and Brew Lagniappe video brought to you with support from Imperial Yeast and by our awesome Patreon supporters.
Wow, that is, it's good, but it's sweet.
And with that, we begin. How about that? Maybe we don't even need to say anything. Barry summed it up. But here we are. This is a Lagniappe, an extra video to the 100th episode. And we are drinking the 6-month sample of the Santa Claus that was brewed, as well as we'll call them a basement beer and a garage beer.
Yes.
But, yeah, maybe we should have finished with this one, actually. But tell me about how the Santa Claus is looking, tasting, feeling.
Well, it's clearing up really nice. It looks, considering it's dark, but you can see through it very nicely. It's been in the Keezer for about 4 months now.
Lagering. You brewed, fermented, racked it to a keg, and you're not carbonating
well, it's not
it's
in
just
a keg.
living there.
It's not in a keg. It's still in the carboy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it still on its yeast, or did you put it in secondary?
No, I put it in a secondary.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So I put it in a secondary and cleaned it out the best I could. There's just a little bit of sediment left in the bottom of that one, but it's been in there now for about 4 months and clearing out nice.
It tastes like what a Santa Claus tastes like.
Yeah.
It tastes like raisin wine.
Yes, it does. And I think if it's carbonated, this isn't carbonated right now.
Yeah.
But I think once we carbonate this, a little of that will go away. It'll cover up some of that sweetness, but it'll still be like a Santa Claus.
Yeah, and I feel like the bottled version isn't that carbonated either. I wouldn't call it still, but partly because of the alcohol content, you can't really get ahead on that thing.
No.
But it just gets like these very thin, kind of lacy bubbles, and then it disappears, and it's just like, hi,
it's almost
15% alcohol.
Yeah, it's almost creamy. It would be really nice if you guys could come out and have this on December 6th.
Maybe we can.
Yeah.
And do the Miller Lite, the lights of Miller.
Oh, yeah.
The way they put those Christmas lights up.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it already. My first Sammy was a little weird and off, so for this being your first, and granted you learned from,
the masters.
The masters.
Yes.
I won't say that. We learned from the masters and passed it on. So you learned from the middleman masters.
That's right.
The middle masters.
Yeah.
Drew Beecham helped out with that a lot, and I can't remember all the sources. There are 3 or 4 people that kind of threw in on the knowledge base for that.
Right.
This is delicious. This is going to be...
I think it turned out pretty good. It is sweet right now.
Yeah.
But that's usually the way Santa Claus is.
Yeah.
I literally can only drink one of these at a time. It takes me about an hour or an hour and a half when I sit down and have one of these. Mm-hmm. Last year on December 6th, we did that video where we were all drinking on...
Yeah. What is your plan for eventually kegging? What's your timeline working backwards from December 6th then?
I will keg it and start charging it November before I go deer hunting.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So it'll be charged and in my Keezer ready to go. And I think I'll just put it on tap on my Keezer. I haven't actually had any beer on tap in a while on my Keezer because I've been bottling a lot.
That's a big beer to have on tap, though. You're not going to bottle into it, just go in.
Yeah,
have a lot of people over throughout Christmas and...
Yeah, maybe so. We do have a New Year's party every year, too.
Oh.
So,
20th annual.
Yeah.
What?
So, yeah, we have a New Year's party every year in the basement, and we usually have, anywhere between 20 and 40 people come.
Bam.
And I have beers on tap most of the time.
Dark red, mahogany. It tastes like all the Munich and the raisin and the baked bread and slight bit of brown sugar and molasses. This is on point for the dark, maybe the medium one, the one in the red label, I believe. No, the red label's the Hellas. The one in the brownish.
The brownish, yeah, that's what I was going for. The brownish label one, not the black or the red. I think it turned out great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy considering it was my first try at it, and it was kind of a hectic brew day.
Which of these guys has less alcohol in it?
That I do not know. I would think that this one.
The black lager?
Yeah, I would think.
Oh no,
this is the brown.
Okay.
I would think that this one has
less. Do you have
less.
a bottle opener?
Yeah, I actually do.
Like a pro? I don't really want to... Whatever. It's okay.
That's the car keys.
It's Sunday and we haven't had breakfast or lunch, so it's cool.
This is my little Schlitz bottle opener. That's probably about 50 or 60 years old. And...
So tell... I don't even remember this.
Famous.
Your buddy brewed this in the basement alongside you, and it was in the video as well. It's a brown ale with, if I remember correctly, definitely vanilla, maple syrup.
Yes. Yeah,
but no cinnamon. He had said he had made it before.
Yeah.
Go back in the episode.
Look at it. But yeah.
This is Dan.
This is Dan, yeah.
Cheers, Dan. Is he a North Shore brewer?
Yes, he is a North Shore brewer.
Oh, you can smell like maple syrup, vanilla.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the vanilla stuff.
Bready, kind of like, it's almost a little like marshmallowy.
I'm not getting marshmallow, but yeah, I'm definitely getting the vanilla, but everybody has a different nose.
Mine is very flat, so maybe that picks up more.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
So yeah, it's crisper than I thought it was going to be. It's funny when you hear brown ale, you just don't know what to think because brown ales are so varied. Mm-hmm. This is on the kind of lighter color, almost like the brownish kind of dark orange side of brown. Yeah. Almost like a nut brown, or not a nut brown, like a Newcastle-y kind of brown, but it definitely doesn't.
No, it's not a Newcastle
like
taste at all.
It tastes nutty and biscuity.
Yes.
This is a good fall time beer. I mean, it's good right now too, but this would be like a campfire beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dan's a very good brewer. He works for the Pabst Brewery, which is not the Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery, but there's a smaller one downtown in Milwaukee. It's like a craft brewery of Pabst, and they're making some pretty good beers at that craft brewery. But he works at the brewery, so he's been working there now for a couple of years. He's not a brewer there. But he does work around there, and he's learned so much over the last couple of years, and he's applied it to his homebrew. And I think over the last couple of years, I've known Dan for a few years now through the club, and I think over the last couple of years, his beer is just really, he's really brewing great beer now.
Good job, Dan.
Yeah, very tasty. I had one.
It's really dry.
I had one last night at the wedding, by the way, so I cheated before today, but.
It's got this bready sweetness, but it finishes real dry. It's not a heavy drinking brown at all.
No, not at all.
It could also seem dry because, it's carbonated and it's after a Sammy Claus, so it's like, oh, this tastes like seltzer water.
Which was like thick caramel, that first one, yeah. So.
All right, I'm powering through these. I'm being like no class with the water rinse, which I am gonna do.
Ooh, water rinse.
Fancy. Do you want a water? No, you're not done.
Not done yet.
Come on, bro. So this one, the two dudes in the garage that were doing the decoction, it's like a gallon or a 2-gallon little pot that they were doing their decoction in. It was so fun to watch them just kind of ramshackle that together and kind of crowdsource some of the information from other people in the garage.
Yeah, and then they were out in the snow cooling.
Yep, they cooled in the snow. They had their beers chilling in the snow. So I think it was a Schwartz beer, if I'm correct, a dark lager.
Yeah.
Black lager.
Didn't he make his own candied syrup too for it?
No, that was your other buddy.
That was a different one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't you watch the episode that doesn't exist yet?
I didn't. I knew things were going on, but yeah, I was busy doing my own thing.
Beautiful. I realize we haven't really done cover shots, but this is tar black, cannot see through it at all. It almost looks like an imperial stout. The head is this nice brown, chocolate milk brown.
Yeah.
This beer looks sexy. Y'all. So cheers. Are those buddies in North Shore Brewing?
Yes, they are.
Brewers?
Everybody that was there was the North Shore brewer. It's interesting. It's kind of I thought it was going to be a little bit more chocolatey. It's kind of thin, but it's good. It's almost like it kind of reminds me of a Guinness.
It does. It really does seem like a Guinness. So
it almost feels
like what the lager yeast was. I can't remember.
And almost the mouthfeel almost feels like it's nitrogen. Mm-hmm. Or instead of CO2.
Yeah, the body's extremely smooth and it's got that head. It doesn't have a lot of prickle to it, even though it clearly has some kind of carbonation.
I could definitely.
Also said cigar, dark chocolate.
Yeah,
I get that a lot of that Guinnessy, that kind of
It's just smooth, yeah.
Almost
really
minerally. It is. It's almost like an imperial stout that had a lager yeast, so it doesn't have those fruity esters, or it doesn't have a lot of that thing going on. It's just kind of a pure interpretation of that darker malt.
Right.
And then they cooked it. That's very enjoyable. It's like a Schwartz beer meets
that one goes
big
really
ass
smooth.
stout.
I could drink about 4 more bottles of that.
Without knowing the ABV, I don't know if we should.
Yeah. we still got a visit to go.
Chop.
Perfect, bro.
It's noon on a Sunday. Oh! Go for it. Oh, you're doing that.
Watch out! Shrapnel flying.
Very nice. Several tries and we got it. I was just gonna put it in there.
Think about how many shots I would have had to have done if that was high school. I mean college.